This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Is this the decoupling? Is Legacy got some problems and Bitcoin is bid because people are after the Bitcoin ETF? The answer is yes. Are people after real world asset coins? Yes. Is that going to change? No. Now, you may get some volatility in crypto if there is a broader disturbance in Legacy. Maybe. But DCA in May applies over to crypto in June. My theory was buy CPI. Now, we're going to go through all the charts in Legacy. I don't want to cry wolf, but bonds rallying, stocks weak, and oil down 5%. That's a triple whammy you can't ignore. That's going to send big players into the Bitcoin ETF initially, and it's probably going to limit dips in Bitcoin and Ethereum. The rest of the market will sway back and forth. We will look at the charts. I do have a list of altcoins that I will be featuring in Patreon over the next week. So you definitely want to get in there, along with getting not only the consensus alpha, but the market update with all the topics I can't talk about, because that list gets bigger every day. So if you want the market update secret version, head on over to Patreon. This is a reminder, this show is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/unhinged crypto. The link is in the description down below. It's in the comments of the live stream. It's also in the bio on my Twitter, crypto_noble. Please come check it out. As these things progress, particularly if there's a little bit of difficulty in Legacy, it's going to get harder and harder to talk about it via regular social. So for $15 a month, in my opinion, it's worth it, particularly since I'm going to be covering altcoins via Altcoin Overtime in that section. Richard Barry, welcome. Bull Runner is here. TPOD, Raymond, Yappy is here, right? Simones with a $20 super chat. Sir, I appreciate that. Thank you. Blue Arctic is here. Blue Arctic at 3 cents up from the lows, holding nicely. They have competition from Lake. That's the good news, because I think they win on a relative value basis. Real world assets, folks. It doesn't get any more real than water. So, wishing that community the best. Okay. ARK steps out of the ETH ETF. Yes, that is super weird. Steve is here, says Bitcoin first, then ETH. Indie Rock Crypto, Joe Mike. Angela, 23, Patriot Caveman. Raymond, BitBoy Al in the house. Making the stream live. Forget about it. Right? Is here from Smashville. Right? And we are ready. Bob Marsh is the wolf at the door of the hen house. Yeah, they got some issues going on in Legacy, and we need to talk about that. We need to have a serious conversation about what's going on. We're going to go over all the charts. But we're going to start with news. News. We may even throw in some live TA, because the bond market is news. Holy cow, look at this. ZB. What's ZB? Well, it's U.S. long bond futures. Now, wait a second. Let me get this straight. I thought the U.S., I don't know. I thought the U.S. had some problems. Why do we want to own a long-term bond? A 5-year bond, a 10-year bond. Why do we want that again? Oh, wait a minute. In the economics textbook, it says that when people get scared, they buy treasury bonds or treasury bills or treasury notes. And then, of course, that's good for crypto, because bonds going up makes interest rates fall down. And that's good for crypto. And of course, if there's some, booga booga, I'm afraid that's also good for Bitcoin, because, money has to go somewhere. So if they go out of things that they're scared of, like, I don't know, some of the stuff that government agencies reported about the solvency of various 63 institutions. Scary. 25% of the S&P 500, 25% of the market cap is made up of 5 stocks. What happens if you have a little bit of a problem over there? Bonds up, Bitcoin up. Now, how long does that last? If you have a problem elsewhere in the world, is crypto immune from any type of disturbance? The answer is no, it's not. It's not. Now, if there's no disturbance, crypto's good, right? Bitcoin is fine. I mean, where's Bitcoin going when they're going to want this, ETF? The ETF demand is off the charts. So we'll talk about that in a second, right here. Okay, Bitcoin spot ETF on a 15-day winning streak. Thailand has a Bitcoin ETF. Hello. Hello. Australia's Bitcoin ETF has launched. Now, just in case you're wondering what this means, broker-dealers in these countries are going to want the pension funds in these countries, or the retirement funds, or the whatever, to buy the Bitcoin ETF from them, not from some other company. So every country is going to wind up having it. Every emerging market country is probably going to wind up having it, and they're probably going to wind up mining it on top of that. So everyone's like, well, the Bitcoin ETF story is over. No. At Consensus, they were downplaying a little bit, going, we can wait. We're gonna do our homework. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Both of those things are wrong. Like, meh, and we'll do it later. Yeah, no, we're gonna do it soon. The question is, what price are we gonna do it at? Like, is Bitcoin gonna go to 80 and then dip back to 70? That's possible, right? Is Bitcoin gonna go to 75 and make a new high and have everybody get euphoric, and then maybe have it come off because of a disturbance? Maybe. But the bottom line is it's in a favorable position. Even if they smack it for half of June, I don't care. I mean, I care about people's P&L, but there's no way I'm getting bearish. There's no way. Real world asset coins, after what I heard at Consensus, is no wonder they're up only. Now, there are disturbances going on in the world. Okay, you've got a problem in India's stock market. You had a problem with Mexico's currency yesterday. This is all off elections. Okay, ask yourself, hey, oil down, is this spreading at all? Is it spreading? Massachusetts regulators probe a certain individual. Morgan Stanley and E-Trade stop a certain individual from trading. Let me tell you something about this. And I'm going to show it to you with the Bitcoin ETF up here. There are losses. This is well documented. There are unrealized losses everywhere in legacy. Everywhere. Because of what happened with interest rates. Now, normally, when you have unrealized losses, if you put enough pressure, or pressure is sustained over time, things can break. And they can break suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just wake up one day and it's like, oh, look, the FDIC just made an announcement. How nice. This is why we crypto. Now, as far as this short squeeze goes, again, I'm not necessarily cheering for whoever is short this particular stock to get into trouble, because it could destabilize the system. The broker-dealer that basically told this guy he can't trade anymore, yeah, that wasn't their idea. They got told. Meanwhile, okay, 63 banks, problems. $500 billion in unrealized losses. 50% of Americans believe we're in a recession, right? 17 trillion in household debt. Now, again, these economic blogs and these Twitter feeds, they feed off of this. Even more concerning is that many Americans do not expect their financial conditions will change for the rest of their lives. Inflation will be with us for the rest of their lives. I don't think so. Stress will change, but it will be different. Okay. Again, 65% of middle-class Americans are struggling financially. And you're like, okay, Bill, so what? People, if you got to get Bitcoin, if you got to get Ondo, if you got to get Dusk, if you got to get Aero, if you got to get an AI coin, if you got to get Ethereum or Solana, Solana's going in an ETF, you know, that's the one that's next. I'm telling you. I mean, they told you that at consensus. You want to be one of these 65%? I don't. And I don't want you to be either. So if they give you opportunities in June, just like they gave you opportunities in May, you got to take those opportunities. You got a problem in legacy. This is the beginning of the decoupling. Now, decouplings are never orderly. That's okay. But if you in your side, your head, you're like, wow, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm thinking this is decoupling. If legacy goes down, crypto will go down nowhere near as much. Altcoins, certain altcoins may have trouble if there's problems in stocks. But if you got the right altcoins and the right chart support points, again, where's this going to be in 3 to 6 months? And do you want to be one of these people who can't finance an emergency? I don't want that for you. El Salvador now owns 5,700 Bitcoin worth $402 million. Per Cathie Wood, emerging market countries will start to mine Bitcoin. The hash rate on Bitcoin is 3 times what it was at the high last cycle. Now, I'm not going to tell you what that means. You're going to have to go on my Patreon and see the consensus alpha for that. Safe to say, the Bitcoin ETF is only one angle for the expansion of Bitcoin. Sovereign countries are going to have an angle. Again, it's in Patreon, and it is worth $15 if I don't say so myself. Microsoft to let a bunch of people go. Keep in mind, 5 to 10 stocks are holding up the entire stock market. Okay? They have to jump over increased expectations every quarter. So if they can't increase revenue, they're going to decrease costs. You have to really start asking yourselves, where are the full-time jobs in this economy? Financial Times reported this morning that, you know, job demand is not where it used to be. U.S. diesel demand hits 26-year low. And industrial fuel, no wonder oil is down 5%. Okay. 3 in 5 Americans wrongly believe the U.S. is in a recession. Can you imagine if there actually was a recession? Now, some good news. Eagle King found the TA indicator out there, the Gaussian channel. Okay. When altcoins get above this level, you know, you can get robust moves in crypto. Are you going to have volatility? Probably. Okay. Even if you have volatility, is the dip in Solana a buy? Is there any case for ETH to be below 3,500? I don't think there's a case for ETH to be below 3,700 because nobody had time to buy before the ETH ETF came out. So, yeah, good. Okay, let's legacy got problems. Great. Guys going to sell? I don't know. You know, you may have a problem with altcoins. And then again, man, you may not. The decoupling it's here. The question is, can you buy the dip and can you trade it without getting washed out or stopped out? Van X says Bitcoin to have at least half the market cap of gold. That would mean Bitcoin's market cap would go to 7 trillion. So that's, I believe, close to a 7x from where Bitcoin is right now. I like this. Exercise may be more effective when you're upset. Have been more effective than medicine. You know what, folks? We're all sitting around waiting for crypto to do something. And it's not that fun. It's not. It's not. And one thing you have to remember when it's not fun is all the reasons why you crypto, which is why you tune into this show, which is why you join Patreon. All that matters is you stay in the game. Like if you stayed in the game in Bitcoin when it was like 62, look where you are now. You know, you're sitting pretty at 70 something. And even if they hit it, who cares? Right? Australia, Hong Kong, Thailand, the state of Wisconsin, BlackRock. I mean, who isn't going to be down there grabbing that stuff? Who isn't? And as people allocate money from stocks, okay, I said this already. You get the point. You get the point. Okay, here's the oil price move. Oil's down 10% in 5 days. OPEC just extended production cuts. That's not having any effect. Okay, and oil is down 16%. And a good conclusion is that markets are not buying the soft landing narrative. Remember this? Oh, yeah, we're going to take rates from 0 to 5%, and we're going to have a nice soft landing. First of all, there's never been a soft landing in the history of economics. The Fed always goes too far, and goodness gracious, have they gone too far this time. Nobody can finance the debt or any debt at 5% Fed funds. And the bond market is telling you that, and the price of Bitcoin is telling you that. And this is called policy error. What's policy error? Well, it's just people making mistakes, and it's great for Bitcoin. Now, here's what's not great for Bitcoin. 455,000 tokens created on Solana last month. Huh. Okay. So are we making economic value or are we making rug chains? Okay. Supposedly the revenue for pump.fun last quarter or last month was say 30 million. Let's stick to what works. Now, speaking of what works, TVL in the base ecosystem hits an all-time high. Meanwhile, they're selling Aero. They're selling all this stuff. Hey, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? The layer 2 situation in Bitcoin and Ethereum is a completely underappreciated story. Like STX and Bitcoin, they destroyed it. Now it's coming back 8% today, breaking a trend line. Altcoin's going to give you 2-3 days. Absolutely. Want to jump in? Put a stop in and jump in. Right? You just have to be careful if things get too weird in legacy. But again, you know what I'm saying? You got to trade the decoupling. You got to get after stuff. I mean, like most of the market went down on consensus. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Bitcoin transaction value hits a high with 25 billion moved. Yeah, but you know, everything's terrible. And this, oh God, this. So Binance founder. You know what? I said this all along. The day that they do this to this guy is the low. It's the end of 2022. And, you know, I'm sure that he's not squeaky clean. But 4 months is a long time to be away from your family. It really is. And, you know, this guy did a lot for the space. So if some ETF player has the ability to hedge themselves by buying that ETF, that guy was a part of it. Okay. And again, oil and international stocks. Whoops. Okay. Carlos is here. Alpha, welcome. Crypto crazy. Watch out for these rug pulls. Somebody out there wants me to be a chiropractor. Okay. Somebody is looking ticker symbol Bill. Okay. Yes. Somebody is noting that we have AI generated videos in our comments now. You got to be careful what you click on in comments. Want you to comment. Just don't click on any ads, right? The only ad we want you clicking on is the one for Patreon. Patreon.com/ /unhinged crypto. It's in the bio of my Twitter and the description of the show. And we have the QR code. Now, Spinachi says RWA is too distant, in my opinion. Okay, that's a good point. A lot of that was talked about at consensus. And what I can tell you is that RWA is actually in progress in Europe right now. Right now, they're doing it. So all they need is something happening in Legacy, and it moves faster. Again, the alpha is in Patreon. Crypto Locus, Huckleberry Native, Super Pat, Richard Barry, talking about what's going on with the BANKS. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Then we're going to go to Live TA and check out what's going on. Okay. S&P. So 2016 to 2024, it's a 5-wave structure. It could be a top. They do have sell in May and go away. A lot of stocks have been hammered. You know what, folks? Let's look on the bright side. If stocks don't go down, nothing stops crypto. If stocks do go down, it could be unpleasant. It could be unpleasant. In other words, I know that the decoupling is at hand, but the decoupling will not be orderly. We don't just all genuflect and go, okay, well, you guys go down and have fun. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a little bit tougher, but it's exciting because it's happening. If I said we're 20 days away from this thing turning around and taking off, I mean, that's exciting if you get, either dips or you get breakouts. Okay, this is NASDAQ 100, QQQ. You got a 13 top on weekly charts. Last time you saw that, QQQ didn't trade that well over here. You got like a 6 to 8 week slump. You get a 6 to 8 week slump, like you don't get a mess, but you just get this blah price action where nothing goes up in equities and the only game in town is Bitcoin. Now, hey, that's a scenario I can get behind because all these that allows altcoins to move along with Bitcoin if stocks just sort of slump. Okay, interest rates. Guess what? They're going down. Guess what? The Fed's going to cut rates. Seriously. They're not going to do it in June, but they may have to do it in July. I mean, do you think that you think they're not seeing what we're seeing? They're seeing way more than that, in fact. This is the 5-year note interest rate. So government bonds produce yields. This is a chart of the interest rate. The yield on the 5-year government bond, as you can see, was up only with the tightening cycle. It went to 5% where it was in 2002 and 2007. And, things broke in 2007 with 5% funds. You have new highs in the yield and lower highs in RSI. So this is a recipe for lower rates, and Bitcoin knows it. Bitcoin knows it. I mean, what? I'm the only one who can see oil falling and the bond interest rates falling. I mean, lower oil, statistically, great for Bitcoin, right? It's great for Bitcoin. Now, if Bitcoin gets euphoric on the upside, can that hold if stocks go down? I don't know. But the downside in Bitcoin is limited at best. Rates are coming down. Ondo, what is going to stop this thing? This is going to go top 5. I mean, they got a partnership already with BlackRock. The consensus alpha in Patreon, the guy said, he said 2 sentences. And I'm like, oh my God, this is never going to stop. ETH. Okay, so ETH is holding above 3,700. I don't even know what the case is for ETH to go down. I mean, I guess, precious metals are correcting. So, but, ETH never went up. It never went up. And there's going to be an ETF, and no one has done any forward buying of ETH. So if they hit Ethereum, if Ethereum gets caught, I don't know, in any type of disturbance, people are going to go, oh, thank God we can, get some of this because we got caught off guard. We don't have any ETH. What are we going to do? You know, what happens if people fly out of equities and start moving into crypto? What are you going to do? Bank stocks, oil stocks? What are people in equities going to do? I mean, this is what people have forgotten about, right? They think the ETF comes out and they look at the screen. They're like, okay, when's the number going up? It's not about the number going up. I mean, the number goes up when people in legacy start allocating truckloads of money. And I think they were going to allocate truckloads of money anyway, but, you know, no one's in a hurry. Did hear some of that at consensus. We're going to sit around and do our due diligence, even though, you know, Bitcoin ETFs have been around for a while. We're going to sit around and contemplate our navel. Meanwhile, you know, you got all kinds of macro events happening. And nobody's going to wait for some advisor to call them up and go, you know, you should really buy some Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be at 100 before they do that. People are going to do it now. They're going to do it now. And even if they get a euphoric run up and then some sort of correction, so what? So what? And even if it's nasty, yeah, it could be nasty. I could go on and on. I do this all the time. You know, I get all wound up about this stuff and it lasts a week or a month. The most important thing is to grab crypto. That's the most important thing, is to grab crypto and hold on. You got to manage risk. But if you did DCA in May, you may have to do that for another 30 days. Who cares? I mean, where do you see some of these altcoins? I mean, again, I'm debuting a series that, you know, we're going to go over like a list of 20 altcoins, three or four a night. Here's oil. And I talked about this, right? Oil has a hidden pivot structure with resistance at 80. Now, it did sit here for quite some time. And then it just cracked. The next support is at 65. The ultimate destination is 35. Where do you think Bitcoin is going to be if oil's at 35? God, right? Most likely they're going to price in some sort of change in our energy policy that's going to increase supply. I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened already. Where is Bitcoin with oil at 35? Oops, can't talk about that. Okay, near protocol. Head and shoulders bottom. Okay. Nice bounce off this trend line. Okay. You want to take a shot at near protocol for 2 days and see what happens? Do it. Now, you may get a big rally. Then again, you may get stopped out. But, you know, I'm not opposed to trying it. Again, anything that solves big problems. You know, this and Polkadot solve, you know, like scalability, speed, transactions, etc. You think this is not going anywhere? You think BlackRock's not like climbing and crawling all over the crypto universe looking for stuff? Look at this. STX, Bitcoin layer 2, hammered, all through consensus. Hammered. Give up trade, reversal. You know what? You think I'm going to be a shy of this because it's up 8%? I mean, you know, buying strength really has not worked, admittedly. But, you know, are you going to shy away from trying a 2 or 3 day trade? And if it doesn't work out, well, you lost a little money. Okay, that's not good. You just get to buy it cheaper. And what happens if they just gave up on all this stuff right before the dawn? I mean, layer 2s in Ethereum and Bitcoin, the TVL, locked on base. Hello. Goldfinch, GFI, real world assets, DeFi. Oh my God. What is this? This is like, I give up right into support. Why is everyone giving up on this stuff? I don't get it. Aero, down only. 62% retracement. Is that $1? They sell it to you at $1. They sell it to you at 96 cents. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, things are happening in legacy. I mean, it's not like, oh, Bill drew up some like weird, strange theory. This is happening. I mean, it is happening. It has been announced, right? Oil announced, interest rates down, announced, right? Foxtrot, Delta, Indio, Charlie. They've announced it. Render. What is up with artificial intelligence? Like, people have just like completely given up on this. They're giving up. It's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. I don't know. Here we go. This is another thing about AI that I like. I'm just going to come off PowerPoint for just a second. And again, this speaks to the consensus alpha that you seriously need to read, right? Or not read, watch the video. Bitcoin miners sink millions into AI seeking billions in return. Anybody who thinks Bitcoin mining stocks are not going up needs to recalculate. Okay, what they said in that consensus piece, oh my God, you don't need to know anything else. Really. It's like I could have gone home after listening to the Bitcoin miners. I could have gone home. PNG, cross-chain DeFi, Rune, similar picture. This is like mid-cap. You know, maybe you can take a shot here. You know, if this crisis in legacy is not a crisis and Bitcoin sort of maybe stays sort of still, alts could rally. I mean, where is this? This was at 60 cents. It's now at 47. And they, most importantly, again, it's like they drop it and then they just bore you to death. This is a classic bull market stuff. Look at JTO, Solana staking. Hello, breaking trend lines. And again, I got 4 or 5 altcoins here. And again, this free content is brought to you by my Patreon. So I thank you, but I got about 20 more of these. I got 20 more. Look at TAO. Oh my God. Right? I mean, you know, it's at 450 to 380 and now it's 391. Now maybe this goes up for 2 days and comes off. All right. Maybe. Right? But if the decline is not that big of a deal, or you want to wait and grab it on CPI, you know, everybody's always afraid of CPI for whatever reason. It would be kind of funny if something actually did, you know, break. Oscar the cat is like, is Dash still a thing? You know, sir, I would love it if it was. Let's look at it. Share screen and go to live TA. Baby Whale is in the house. By the way, Baby Whale getting double points for commenting on live streams. Commenting and the like button, which I don't harp on as much as other YouTubers, now matters. Now matters. Okay, is Dash still a thing? So Dash and Litecoin look very similar, right? It just can't get out of its own way. Now, part of the big question in the market is, what is this? And these kind of formations are everywhere. Now, in my opinion, this looks like a bear flag. And in crypto, you always get with triangles, you get the opposite of what the theory would state. So I would not doubt this in Dash. I would not doubt that there's some sort of like final heave, like somebody had me looking at Litecoin the other day. Okay, Litecoin on Coinbase. Okay, here's the triangle or the consolidation formation in Litecoin. Now, what we can't get here in Litecoin is no one wants to pay higher prices. That said, look at the size of this base. In other words, are you telling me, just saying, are you telling me that at the end of the year, nobody is going to be using digital cash for people to buy holiday presents? Okay. Okay. So there's a couple of people. Thank you for the Matic Alpha back in 2020. Rick coming in from Twitter. You're welcome. Ching Ching is here. Crypto Crazy. Jasmine up 100% in 2 days. You know, there's an important lesson here. See this bullish downward sloping wedge in Jasmine? Like there were people that gave me a hard time Rudy is out there somewhere where we were talking about this being positive around here and around here. And they just waited you out, and then it just took off. Just label this. I don't understand why the whole world is sleeping on the AI trade. There's a part of me that would rather do this trade and get stopped out on some event. Do this trade and get stopped out on some event. And then if it doesn't work, you just come back and do it again. You just come back and do it again. Okay. Dash has a partnership. That's great. Okay. Pancakes and Peanut Butter loves the thumbnail. That is the Eagle King in the house. Okay. Silas says real world assets, you got to start early. So by the way, there is a real world asset report in the Patreon store. Patreon does have a store that has reports in it with all kinds of altcoins. You know what? I'm feeling the need to share it. Let me just share the screen here. Okay. Patreon has a store. Here's DeFi and RWA. I don't want to tell you where these coins are relative to where it was when we published this report. There are small cap and large cap plays in here. So it's not like, you know, if you don't want to do the monthly thing, I got the coins in there. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is one of the coins. I mean, look at Dusk. I mean, you gotta, we've talked about this, right? Huge base, breaks out, comes back down, and now, oh, look, it's grinding higher. It just like grinds. It like goes up and then it comes back down. It goes up and it comes back down again. And everyone's like, oh, I can't buy it. It's up too much. Oh, you know, this and that. Okay. Right. This Williams oscillator getting close to zero. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks if there's no legacy event, this thing could go straight up. And if there's like a minor legacy event where the system just kind of goes, oh, it's going to go. It's just going to go. I mean, this is like, you know, privacy on the blockchain, just like what legacy is used to with things like dark pools or just general trading. This is not investment advice, but I did see these guys, SquidGrow, sponsored a karate combat event. Supposedly, again, this is a meme coin, right? But it's supposedly a meme coin with utility, okay? Or at least that's what they bill it as, okay? These guys are coming out with something that they're calling silent swap. I'm like, oh my God. Silent swap sounds like a decentralized, you know, pool where, you know, you can trade cross-chain quietly. Now, again, this is low market cap. This is a meme, very catchy marketing. Okay. But somebody in here is going to win this cross-chain game. Because you think everyone's going to come in and just want to do ETH? You think that's it? They're going to want to do ETH. They're going to want to do Bitcoin. They're going to want it all in one place. And they all may come in at the same time. I mean, think about it. Like equities kind of like crack a little bit or slump. Everyone's like, all right, Stan Druckenmiller sold NVIDIA and nobody's buying Render. Oh, I'll buy Render. Oh, there's a problem with financial institutions. Oh, excellent. Look, there's the Bitcoin ETF. Oh, how nice. Oh, look, they have low cap, small cap, AI coins. Oh, real world assets. Oh, wow. What's the market cap on this? Is it top 5? No? Huh. People, I've been advocating this for some time. Sometimes you don't want to look at the market. Sometimes you just like leave it alone. This is not one of those times. It's not. Okay. Get involved and study crypto. Find a support point, draw a trend line, find out like, okay, the market is here and I would definitely buy it if it went down here. Like if you know those levels in any coin that you're looking at, and if you think you don't know what you're doing, yes, you do. You look to the left on the chart and you see a point where it started or stopped before. That's it. mean, that's a lot of what we're doing. I mean, I've got, got methods for picking altcoins. The simple fact of the matter is this whole market is about to go, it's either about to go on a little sale or a big sale because of a problem in legacy. And if that happens, you have to be there. Why? Because this is the decoupling. That's right. It's the decoupling. You don't want to be one of those people that go, wow, in July or August or September when the Fed cuts rates, you go, wow, this thing decoupled. No. You start talking about it now, even if there is downside risk. Who cares? You want to be able to tell your kids that you got the decoupling right. So you think about that, and we'll see you tomorrow.